Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to a little unexpected review. I was working on one of my other projects, and I got another ad for EVERWEAVE, I guess that's what it's called, an AI Dungeon Master. So I thought, you know what, for the sake of science and whatnot, I thought I would give it a try, and I spent about an hour fiddling around with it, playing the game, so to speak, make a character, investigate the starting situation, and see where it led. And I wasn't the few issues that I immediately had, besides the fact that it's an AI, which, you know me, I don't really care too much about that stuff. I know it's just a tool, and for folks like me who've done it all when it comes to your traditional, at least fantasy role playing games. I've been playing them for the better part of 50 years, and I thought I'd give it a try. And the music's annoying, but I found I could turn that off. The text was small. I found I could blow that up. The story was not too bad. I was actually making some dumb mistakes, and once I figured out some of those things, I found it very interesting and actually kind of challenging, because it doesn't, there's only so much you can do to manipulate it. And trust me, I got it to go where I wanted to go. Still putting some challenges. I think I'm about to get my ass handed to me in some sort of combat with like an ogre or a giant or some such large, loud, noise-making monster. So clearly, I'm going to have to skedaddle, being just a mere first-level character. But I could see the potential, not just to entertain and alleviate boredom, but to use it to test out what your party might do, to use it as sort of a tool as a dungeon master, not as just a player or someone who's bored looking for a new game to play, because it is all completely text based. So that's good. And I did notice that it's pretty wordy in its description of things, which is also actually enjoyable. But to use it as a tool to see what it would do, reverse it, get it to be a player instead of being a dungeon master, to test out what other characters, players, etc. might do in situations, to see if your own game is too esoteric, too complicated, too convoluted, to begin to pare out the nonsense, but add in enough flourish to make it enticing and help basically edit your dungeons, as opposed to just playing along. I could see with the right subscription or what have you. Mind you, I don't pay for anything, even this game, which I'll get into in a minute. I'll come up with one thing, like once a day. I'll come up with something and ask one of the AIs, what should I do about this, or what would you do about that, or give me some ideas about this or that thing, and then work with it. That way, I'm not relying too much on it, mostly just to get either a jump start, or to have someone to bounce my ideas back and forth with before submitting them to you guys on YouTube and Discord. I don't like showing my cards too early before I drop a video. Otherwise, people will start talking to me about it and kind of inevitably sidetrack me. So I'm gonna keep looking into this and seeing if there are other ways that we can use this to our benefit. But when it comes to this game, it looks like it's going to be mostly a pay-to-play thing where you're going to get so many moves or actions or messages, so make them count, I guess, before they start wanting money. And I'm like, I don't pay for anything. I don't have to, ever. Been a long policy long before, gosh, it's really as far back as I can remember. But if you are bored and you're looking for a DM and you can't find one, and the usual video games are just not cutting it for you, this could actually be a very fun thing to spend time with. I actually prefer doing other things. I probably won't go back to it unless you guys want to hear more about it. But I think, for those folks that are isolated, or don't know anybody in the area, or there's nobody in the area, or like me, your games are falling apart because people just can't make weekday games, which kind of understandable. I was talking with someone, and certain nights of the week are just like kind of like cursed. I want to say that it's just not going to happen. I've noticed it with other people's games as well, not just mine. A particular night is just completely, just forget about it. I don't know what the reason is, but I will be still running the games that I'm running, and maybe a couple more next month. I want to finish cleaning the house and taking a little break to come up with some new ideas. But let me know what you guys think about this, if you've tried it, if there are other ones out there, because I was a little pleased with myself in how easily I was able to manipulate it to take the story where I wanted to go, because obviously, it's only got like a minimal start for depending on what kind of character you make, and then you go. I would be curious to try it on another device and make the same character but under a different account and see if it has the same beginnings, which probably make it easier for the whole program writers to only have to do so much work and then go from there. But I am curious to see how much I can manipulate it, and if it gets easier or if it gets harder as they progress with teaching it how to handle more situations with a little more iron-fisted lay down the law kind of mentality. But let me know what you guys think. I'm going to go and do some other stuff. I actually have some reading I want to finish tonight before I hit the hay. But I will see you guys tomorrow morning, right after this show, for the morning show. Until then, folks, have a great evening. And until then, see you in the funny papers.